Hey everybody, you got to give me a sound check. Make sure I don't have sound open here because I'm in a public place. Just in case someone came to kill me. This way, it makes it a little more difficult. So give me a sound check so I know that you can hear me. We'll get started. I'll wait. Not that I have anything better to do. So. Anybody want to give me a sound check, please? Sound check. Someone, please, sound check. Can somebody please just tell me they can hear me or not hear me? I mean, you should see me mouthing off. Sound is fine. Thanks, Harold. Appreciate that. All right, here we go. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top and let's get rolling. Hey, Harold, number one this week. Gold medals in the mail, regular mail. So it might take a while. You'll get it soon. So that's good. Going to pop this one up on behalf of a TG user. Can you elaborate on the status of the banking license? Did CM apply for one? If so, when was that? And what is the status on it? If not, will we apply for one? We've never applied for a banking license. We had an EMI agent license through one of our banking providers. That's Electronic Money Institution for those paying attention. We no longer work with that EMI, and the reason being is that the Bank of Lithuania has restricted their ability to deal with crypto companies. That's why the recent bank change. But we never applied for a banking license. In fact, it was never even part of a plan. I don't even think it was in the white paper. I remember having this discussion a long time ago saying that a banking license might actually restrict our ability to do certain things rather than give us the ability to do more cool stuff. So there's the answer on that one. Thanks, Harold, for bringing that in. Core threat. Is that a core threat? All right. Hey, Kevin, I've been waiting for a stuck Hathor withdrawal for over a month now. Support says the update is causing issues. Do you know how long it'll take? Great question. Unfortunately, on this operational stuff, I'm not the best guy to ask. I do know that there was an issue with Hathor withdrawals, and anyone that made a withdrawal during that time is stuck in that issue, though I can't really elaborate on what that is. I think you may have reached out to me. If not, someone definitely did with a Hathor withdrawal. Please DM me or PM me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. Send me the details. Send me basically your registered email address. And then anything you may have that you already got for support in a timeline, and I'll take a look into it. Hi, Kevin. Your thoughts on Credo, and you think it'll be a good performer in the next bull run? I know nobody likes to hear this, especially when price looks like shit. I still like Credo. I still think they have a great team. Nothing's changed there. I mean, price doesn't necessarily mean a thing. Unless you hold it and your portfolio looks worse. But in terms of value, I don't think they've lost value. The company, I think, continues to grow. They're offering now services we will probably use in the future. We've always planned on using Credo, but now with offering non-custodial deposits, it's probably almost a certainty that we'll be using them in the future. When it comes to crypto, at least in the past, every bull run, everything does well. So asking, will this do well in the bull run is almost like not asking a question at all. I do think they've been building additional foundations in the company and building up their client list, etc. So I expect it to do it. I did do a mic check. See, I'm learning. Old dogs can learn new tricks. How is the fundraising going? Or closer to step 3 or 4? Nice question. So from the UAE guys, that's been stuck for a while now. They asked for, long story short, they asked for an intermediary, basically to set up a bond. I'm not too comfortable with what they're asking us to do, and so I'm asking to make some changes and look for an additional third party, and that's where we got stuck. We have a German fund that we're now, I would say, in step 3 or 4 to get closed. It's a little bit less money, but it's still, 7 digits, and it's going to help us push things along and continue to fundraise. Do really cool stuff. So I expected to have actually information on that today, but that German fund, I'll have a call with them tomorrow, hopefully, to get the ball rolling to get to step 4. Hey, Kevin, do you have a business plan for 2023 and 2024? We do. We have what I would call a mini business plan that includes essentially us breaking into new markets, mostly in South America. Jet fuel, I'm trying, man, I'm trying. Is Coinmetro currently reducing its payroll? I was quite surprised when Dasha announced it's no longer the same yesterday since from an outside perspective. Joshua was doing a great job. So that has nothing to do with performance. We are absolutely trying to optimize our cost base so that we can, as we increase revenues, we plan to do a few things to attempt to do that as well. Though we have done several things to already do that in the past. One of those is hopefully reactivating a lot of users that got stuck in a couple of these KYC changes we saw over the past few months. So no, Dasha had nothing to do with her performance. She did an amazing job. I'm sure she'll do an amazing job wherever she ends up next. We definitely did reduce payroll, so we got our entire burn rate. Our burn rate hit a maximum. This is sometime ago, about 750K a month. Our burn rate going into the beginning of this year was about 400. It's now 250. And so it's been quite hard, and we've definitely seen people go that we didn't want to see go. But it's just important for us to make sure, especially during fundraising, that we're optimizing. And we probably should have done this sooner. And in fact, we definitely should have done sooner. That falls on my shoulders as leadership. I should have pushed to get this done sooner, and I didn't. So unfortunately, some things have happened now that I wish wouldn't have happened. But it's all for the best in the grand scheme of things to make sure we get where we want to go. How's the new website working out in terms of conversions and traffic? Actually, I haven't seen numbers. I do see weekly numbers in a weekly meeting that we have, which we call the weekly business review. And while the amount of signups isn't drastically increasing, the conversions seem to be. Phone calls running in here because I am on my mobile. Do you think Cadena will provide an essential service in the future, or is it over for me? This is actually from your mother. Or is it over for you? Listen, your mother. An essential service. That's an odd question. It's an odd way to propose the question. What I would say is that when it comes to layer ones, there aren't many. Almost no layer one has a niche, a true niche that they're very good at that no one else is good at. Almost every layer one can do everything that other layer ones can do, whether they're cheaper, faster, or whatever nonsense. Which for most people, I hate to say, is nonsense. For most business is nonsense as well. I can tell you that from a trading perspective, because when I ran a trading platform called FXPay, I always thought that, being cheaper and faster was what people want. Most people don't care as long as they get the price they want. Meaning that if they're trading at 1.10, they want to get 1.10, not 1.1012, even if it's faster and even if they pay less commission. Most people don't calculate commission plus speed and all these things and figure out true costs. Same thing here. So when it comes to layer one, so I think Cadena still has a chance to be one of the leading layer ones. I don't see anyone doing any really, really cool stuff when it comes to layer ones. To be honest, a lot of talk, but very little delivery. News is out. Tether has revealed to be underfunded at least in 2021. Now that impacts Tether. How will it impact on crypto? How will the impact on crypto be? Sorry, Tether goes down. Well, it would be quite a blow. But I think the last time I saw a stat, 70 to 80% of all volume on every crypto. Sorry, I'm like, I don't know if I smell bad or what, but I got mosquito like flies all over me. I feel like a dead mastiff or something. I think it's just where I am. I don't know. Anyway, so if Tether were to go down, yeah, that'd be difficult because, like I said, 70 to 80% of all volume, the last time I looked at a stat, was with USDT pairs. If Tether were to go down, they'd have to move to another stablecoin. Maybe that would be really good news for USDC. I don't know. Maybe Binance come out, they get another stablecoin and call it USDBT. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it would cause ripple effects. It would cause a news cycle that would make crypto look like absolute shit for months, or probably months, at least a few months. It would feed into this narrative of MiCA and probably push for more regulation across stablecoins, etc., which would get all these people out on Twitter talking about how they're only doing this because they want to make sure that central bank issued digital currencies come out and how they're going to track your whole life and ruin your grandmother's credit report. So it would be a blow for sure. Could we survive it? Yeah, we could. Hey, Kevin, you said you're going to buy more KDA Flux. Is this the moment to load up again? I did when KDA staking. I'd love to have KDA staking, man. They just don't have a bonding program anymore. So unless we find a way to make money off of stake KDA, offering a staking program is just us paying out of treasury, which sucks. I haven't bought any more KDA yet in this cycle. That doesn't mean it's not good timing. I just haven't had time to focus on trying to get money in the door. Do you still expect there to be upside volatility in crypto for at least a few more cycles? There will always be upside volatility. I mean, there are always going to be cycles, right? So that may mean that upside gets smaller than your cycle when you get 50-50 when you first, maybe 80-20 when you first start, mostly upside, not so much downside. Eventually that cycle is going to go crash. You might have 5% upside, 10% upside, 9% downside, meaning in time, not necessarily in price. So of course there'll be upside volatility, absolutely. Dana's circulating supply quadrupled since 2020. Does this concern you? From an academic standpoint of knowing what that means, concern, no, but obviously it tells me that it's going to be harder for the coin to increase in value. When it comes to it actually being able to increase in value, no, it doesn't concern me at all. Markets, these markets specifically that are mostly retail driven, no, it doesn't concern me. What do you think it is the actual motivation behind Gary Gensler's combative stance in crypto industry? He's even, it seems, kind of favorable towards crypto a few years ago. Well, yeah, everybody knows that video now where he went out shilling Algorand, right? We all saw it. Then we saw his staking video, which I got to say, look, I'm not saying I'm the best guy in the world making videos. I'm not saying my videos are even interesting, but what I will say is that Gary Gensler looks like a fucking tool in that staking video. It's embarrassing. And he should be embarrassed about it. He made the comparison between a piece of steak and staking at least, I don't know, 8 times in the video, basically telling you you're an idiot while you're watching it. I think it's policy which pushes. I don't necessarily think Gary Gensler himself, he kind of seems like a type of guy who has a Dogecoin pillow and sleeps with like Dogecoin blankets or something. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's necessarily him. I think it's just policy. He's a puppet in a machine, and that machine right now wants to be against crypto. Why they think that's going to help them win an election, I have no idea. But hey, man, whatever. Like I said, I don't think it's him. I think it's policy. I think when Gary Gensler is forced out, which I think will happen, I think he will leave, you will probably see maybe not a complete pivot, but you'll see at least a pause and a potential pivot at some point when it comes to policy. Kevin, are there any plans to market the current platform? We are marketing the platform. We just don't have a marketing budget right now because we're fundraising and we're extending our runway as much as we can. And so we've reduced cost by reducing marketing spend. When will U.S. clients be able to wire USD to C? I'm working on that, Brad. After all these different debacles that have happened in cryptocurrency and policy, we just talked about Gary Gensler, most banks in the U.S. that used to support crypto no longer do. And the ones that do, well, I wouldn't say they're the best banks in the world to work with. And so we're actively looking. We have 2 applications. We have 7 or 8 applications currently around the banking sphere, 2 of which support USD. So hopefully, hello. Hey, Bobby M. How are you? Hi, Kevin. Have you had any time to look into the new investment opportunities, or is the fundraising? Yeah, fundraising is pretty much 99% of my time when it comes to my day-to-day. So no, unfortunately. Thoughts on the Binance Coinbase allegations? Likely to see Coinbase get away without too much harm, but is Binance eventually the U.S. financial? Well, I've had talks with Binance US, and in those talks that I've ever had, whether it's someone that works for them, it's off the record, or whatever, or it's something potentially to do with business, or it's just at an event, they've always made a very clear point to say that they are not connected to Binance, and that there's no real direct connection between Binance and Binance US. Now, I already knew why they say that every time. It's like when someone says, "Hey, you should buy this asset, but this isn't financial advice," and they write that in the bottom of the email, like you just gave advice about a financial topic, and now somehow you saying it's not advice means it's not advice. No, not really. That's like you stabbing somebody in the neck and saying this is not attempted murder. Yeah, it is. You just stab somebody in the neck. So you can even write that in your email. This is not murder, and then murder somebody. I don't know. It just won't work out that way. So. I honestly tend to think that Binance US will probably, potentially, I should say, make their way out of this less scathed than Binance. However, when it comes to Binance as a whole, this is the start. This is the tip of the iceberg to what we're going to see. My 5-year prediction, pretty much right on the money. I did say 3 to 5 years, so but 3 to 5 years normally what it takes. We're in the 5th year, so. I think the reason why they did Coinbase and Binance at the same time was to not look like they're only going after Binance. Though I do think the only thing Coinbase is going to see is some indirect judicial precedent on what they can and cannot list. And my plan, or my prediction for Coinbase has always been the same. I'll share it with you guys again. Coinbase will turn into an institutional-only player. They will basically become the Qualcomm to the banking industry, like Qualcomm is to cell phones. What does that mean? Is that they're going to underpin all the banking industry's products. They will provide white labels to banks. They will provide liquidity. They're going to get out of the retail game entirely. This is the start of that. Have you had the chance to talk to Yusuf regarding? No, I have not. Somebody on our team might have, but I haven't. I'm a U.S. citizen, and Coinmetro is the only SEX I used. There's staking programs at Coinmetro have. Example, staking CM comply with SEC regulations. Well, the FCC hasn't applied any regulations to staking. They've only basically gone and asked a judge by suing companies to say, please tell us if this is legal or not. So right now, I can't answer that question. What I will say is that once we have judicial precedent, you're going to see a lot of changes coming in the U.S. market, and you probably will see changes at Coinmetro as well. Hopefully, those changes will be for the better. Senor Kevin, hey man. My first live, acknowledged me, flew to Ireland just to be able to be on a similar time zone as Mr. Murcko. Lots of love. PKM, APKM, Senor Kevin. All right. How do you know? Actually, it should be with a B. It's Senor Kevin, Kebin, if you're going to go with the Senor. But hey, man, that's a good first shot. And nice to have you on a similar time zone. How much of the funding did you manage to secure? Still, we've secured, in terms of ticket size, roughly about 2 million. But working on a little over 6 right now. UAE deal is kind of stuck. We'll see if we can unstick it. But closing that 6 million, they would put us over 8 million secure. Are you chuckling warmly to yourself about Binance's current predicament? No, it's not necessarily good for the market in the short term, so it's not really chuckle-worthy yet. It's a bit I told you so. But I think there's a lot of people in the market that are thinking the same. There's a lot of people that saw what I saw. Maybe they didn't say it. There's a lot of people that see it now that still don't see it. There's a lot of people that hope it doesn't happen even though they see it. There's a lot of people that have worked with that company that knew what was going to happen and still aren't saying it. So inevitable, I guess. So not chuckling yet. We'll see though. We'll see what happens. Have you heard of the red pill movement? And if so, what do you think? I've heard of the orange pill movement. Not sure what the red pill is. Somebody just played footsies with me under the table. Sorry, I just totally put me off track. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Welcome, Brother Kevin. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, my friend. Hallelujah. That's right on. Hey, Kev, with Dasha going, are we expecting more employees to be leaving? We've had some downsizing, but the downsizing has basically, it's over with at this point. We've gotten our optimization of cost to as low as we possibly can while continuing to give the best support to our clients and continue to operate running operations at a level we need to make sure that we can not only support our current size, but also grow. You're welcome, man. Sounds good. Awesome. We can hear you. Amazing. Sound just fine, but we can hear people in the background. Oh, sorry about that. Well, not much I can do about that, my friends. Next time I will try to time this monthly AMA where I'm not. Actually, I was in a very quiet place, but the electricity went out like 7 times in the same day, and I didn't want to be on Wi-Fi and have the electricity go out, so I left. Cadena $3,000 asset, I hear. Don't tell anyone. I haven't heard that, but that'd be nice. How to feel about Cadena Eco, Francisco Meatballingano? Look, I don't want to speak ill about anybody. Usually people say that right before they speak ill about somebody. I think Francisco was probably in the wrong role at Cadena. I think he did do some good. I think some of the projects he led up, especially on more of the dev side, were amazing. I think they put him in the wrong role. But all companies make mistakes. I've made a fair share of mine. So what's currently in your crypto folio, bruh? My crypto folio hasn't really changed, actually. So you can go back like 100 days ago. It's probably going to be the same. Do you feel like the price floor implicates CM in any negative regulatory way for trying to protect consumers? Look, there's always a possibility that some regulator may state or may try to make an argument that the price floor shouldn't be there. But we would have arguments against that. And I know that one day in the future, it won't be there. How are you personally dealing with the stress of raising funds over the last months? I guess it must be a rather stressful time. Well, just trying to stay focused, man. When it comes to business stress, I can deal with a lot of stress. A lot. So I'm okay. I'm every day as it comes, trying to have as many conversations as I can, trying to keep, the eye on the price. But I appreciate that, man. What do you think? What's the best method for preservation of wealth for the average 80-year-old middle-class bald dude? Well, zero risk. So I don't even know what that is this day and age, to be honest. I'd say, back in the day, that was keeping money in the bank. If you're 80-year-old, middle-aged, bald, white boomer, or did you say white? Didn't say white. I don't know why I threw white. Anyway, if you're an 80-year-old middle-class bald boomer, and you're in or Lebanon, kind of screwed. If you were in Cyprus 10 years ago, screwed. So yeah, I don't know. Basically, no risk is what you should be doing. Are you still tight-knit with the Parsec team? Absolutely. Still in. Now that Cadena and Coinmetro have focused biz dev teams, any plans to connect again? We've been in contact with them. We just haven't yet found something that makes sense to work on together, but we probably will. How insanely large and heavy is the meat? I have no idea what that means, so I don't even know I read that one. I should have mediated that one. Did you ever go by the handle of Ask Blaster on 4chan? No, I didn't. But I actually had a war with that guy. I wasn't on 4chan though. But the guy had the same name somewhere else. Might have been on Telegram. Wasn't me. What's the Kevin Murcko diet? I'm curious what you regularly consume. David Lynch would eat the same thing every day for 7 years instead of letting his mind wander more freely. Vegan diet mostly. I do eat eggs though. It's not necessarily vegan. But trying to explain to somebody I'm a ovo, non-lacto vegetarian. It sounds like I have a disease that's incurable, so I don't say that. I just say vegan. Even though now, when you go on Twitter and shit, especially crypto Twitter, if you're a vegan somehow, I don't know, subhuman. I don't know how that happens. But I've been vegan now for 11 years. Generally do intermittent fasting. I don't call it that. I just call it eating. Generally don't eat when I wake up. Might have a coffee or water or some type of juice. Something like that, no sugar. And then usually late in the afternoon, and that's it. So, who do you vote for in the U.S. 2024 election spiritually? I think we're still going to have more candidates, so I have no idea, to be honest. We yet to ask me that question maybe in a few months. Since there's already USC, Euro, USD pairs, would you consider adding Tether? There is talk about that in the company right now. I've always been against it, but considering the fact that we're trying to optimize revenues, lots of people trade Tether pairs, I may have to step back and let things ride. Hey, Kevin, I'm arriving late. Well, man, that's all right. The amount of trades I see in Coinmetro's tape, even with BTC needs, are worryingly low and small. When will SPIs be ready for Mexico? Well, the Mexico licensing effort is paused currently as we fundraise. Once we complete fundraising, it'll go back active. We're probably 2 years away from that license. What's the weather like over there? Do you Well, I'm in Portugal right now, right? It's nice. It's probably 25 right now. At 7:30 p.m. Do you prefer Trezor? I've only used ledgers actively. I've used a Trezor, but only once or twice. For that reason, I probably would prefer Ledger as a device, not necessarily in terms of service. What's up with Iggy? Any news about cash payout for in-game shares? Working on it. We need to with the fundraise is absolutely vital to get that done, Christian. But we will get it done. We expected in the time when we were negotiating it, I did not want to be able to go bankrupt. And so I took on that burden, even though one of our majority shareholders told me not to. I went ahead and took on that burden anyway, because we had some committed soft funds in the fundraiser. Those committed funds still haven't made their way in. So we've been looking for other investors that we have. Hopefully tomorrow we will be one step closer to getting enough money so that we'll be able to pay those cash payments. But I'm working on it every day. What are your thoughts about Altman's world coin? No thoughts, right? You'll never have a world currency in the true definition of currency, at least in my lifetime. Any interesting upcoming releases on Coinmetro? That's a good one for the product update, man. I could answer that for you a little bit, but I'm going to let you ask Oliver the next time he's up, because he's good at answering this stuff. He's so passionate about it. That's what he does every day. Hey, Kevin, how often? Oh, God, I see. I shouldn't. I don't know who Cryptog is, man. He's trying to have fun. You got to give him that. He's trying to have fun. He could be a little bit more creative. I would answer the question, to be honest, but in public place. So, what are your thoughts on cryptos like Render and Akash? Do slow, decentralized GPU rendering really offer something over centralized data centers? I can't speak direct to Render and Akash, but to your second question, look, decentralization. The key behind decentralization is never going to be speed. It's going to be either security or privacy of data or both. That's always going to be the key element. Now, for me, for rendering, I would say no, it doesn't add much value. Now, it depends on what you're rendering. If you're rendering, secret WikiLeaks documents and you don't want to end up in an Ecuadorian embassy for years and then get arrested and thrown in jail, decentralization sounds pretty good, man. Pretty good. Now, if you're just rendering like something on Chat GPT, you're asking it like, what would my mom look like a dinosaur? Who gives a shit if it's decentralized? I just want to see that thing fast. That's why I'm using Chat GPT. So I don't know. Decentralization is a great thing on paper and in concept. In the real world, there are very few things I believe that actually benefit greatly from decentralization. Though if you're a privacy nut, you're going to think that. No, not necessarily 2 years for instantaneous payments in Mexico. No, there are companies that will support our European entity and provide that service. But to have the license in Mexico that would allow the Mexican entity to service, it's going to be about 2 years. Did you lower the valuation in the secured tickets? There have been different negotiations on valuation depending on the size of tickets. WorldCoin sounds like spreading the mark of the beast. What's the marketing team looking like nowadays? Anyone working on SEO? Yep, someone is working on SEO. We've been working on SEO. The new website's all about SEO. Marketing team is generally about the same as it was. It's slightly smaller, but the core elements are still being worked on. Just people wearing more hats. I kind of answered the question already. So look, I think I got to the last question. We're about 26 minutes in. I was thinking a half an hour today, maybe an hour, depending on how many questions I got. I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys and gals. I appreciate everybody's questions. Thank you very much. I like doing these things, man. I'm kind of sad I only do it once a month. Okay. Oh, let me answer this one because this is a great question. Are you in a hostel instead of a hotel to cut costs or having margaritas in a bar? No margaritas. No, I'm at a restaurant actually. And no, I'm not staying in a hostel. Though my travel expenses have been paid by me and solely by me since at least September of last year. So no burden on the company at all. But thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. Thanks, Mr. A. Are you finally starting to like Solana? No, I still. Well, I can't say I don't like Solana. I just think it is too centralized for what they're trying to do. I think when it comes to layer ones, they should be as decentralized as they can be. And Solana isn't. And Solana's had a lot of issues with going offline, etc., because of the centralization. So, and I don't think they have a niche yet. I don't think they actually service some industry or solve a problem better than any other layer one. So, not a fan, but they'll probably still stick around. People do like somebody. All right, still questions coming in, so I'm gonna keep going. Trying to withdraw ETH, but haven't gotten an email with confirmation. Just contact our support man; they'll sort you out. That's a support thing. I can't really do anything for you myself, but there's definitely no issue with moving ETH out of Coinmetro. So it might just be that the email is getting bounced back or whatever. Support can check. They can go to our email server. They can check, see if it bounced. They can push it. They can forward it to you. But yeah, they'll sort it, man. Support will sort it for sure. Not a big Cardano fan either. Lots of talk, very little delivery. Amazing community. They've built an amazing community because of that. When it comes to price and the bull run, I think Cardano is probably going to do well. Cardano, sorry. But in terms of the layer one, no, I don't like Cardano at all. I don't see, again, no niche, no specific thing that they're working on that I don't think any other layer one could do. But they did build one of the best communities in crypto, and because of that, they'll probably work hard. Just like Quant. Well, Quant has no need for a token, I think, is the end result. And as you see right now, XRP is getting a lot more press about working with central banks than Quant is. And they're still being sued by the U.S. government. So, yeah. All right, we're still getting questions. Do you think layer 2s and layer 3s on Bitcoin and Litecoin can compete with ETH and other smart layer 1s? No. I think when you need to build a layer 2 and a layer 3, it's because your layer 1 doesn't work for what you're trying to do. Now, that doesn't mean, I think building layer 2s and layer 3s for very specific use cases that bring additional value to the layer 1, okay. But trying to do it just to compete with what other people are already doing better than you are, no. If we find something that Bitcoin can do better, and we already know Bitcoin is more secure because it's proof of work versus the other methodologies that exist inside the crypto sphere. So if you can find ways to utilize that more secure network that other networks cannot compete with, then yeah, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, so why not? Building out a bigger network and not inducing more traffic on the layer 1. Sometimes you reply to my DMs and sometimes you don't. How long should I wait to nudge? Just keep nudging me, man. I don't get annoyed about that. You need to do that. I get way too many DMs, so I might see it, go, I can't reply right now. I'll do it in 10 minutes, and 10 minutes later I have 400 more DMs. So yeah, I get overwhelmed. So just keep keep at it, man. Different times of day, etc. Eventually I'll get back to you, and I apologize for that. So Bitcoin and Lightning won't be able to function as proper P2P transfers. I don't think Lightning will ever be able to replace something like MasterCard or Visa in their current context. No. What has been the point of the Mexican office for? Well, the Mexican office was to build out a bigger staff in Mexico, to reduce staffing costs, and also be able to support one of the biggest growing markets for us, which was North and South America. That was the point. I'd really love a healthy XCM book. So would I, Jeff Fuel. Don't think that I wouldn't love that. We'd all love that. We will get that. Unfortunately, in this business and the way the market is, priorities change, and when they change quickly. And it's still a priority, but fundraising became a bigger priority. I mean, B2B is a P2P. I don't think B2C will be a peer-to-peer global payment system. No, it's not built for that. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for the questions. If you have a question and I didn't answer it, or if you have a question you didn't get to answer, ask it. Go ahead and ask me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. You can always tweet me at Kevin Murcko as well. Have a great Friday. Because today's Thursday. Have a great Friday tomorrow, great weekend, spend time with friends and family. Can't do it physically, do it virtually. I'll see you guys here in a month. Ask me questions on Telegram. If I don't answer you, tag me again. Thanks for all the support. If you know anybody out there that wants to invest in a crypto exchange, man, send them my way. I'll make sure you get a nice commission. Yeah, see you guys soon. Cheers.